Hello BookTube, welcome back to my channel. My name is Juan, I am just one reader, and today I am super excited because I am answering the mid-year book Freakout tag. That is such a mouthful. Anyway, this is one of my favorite videos to make every single year. I've done it consistently, I think, ever since I first came on BookTube. Anyway, let's get started with the prompts. Prompt number 1, the best book that you've read in 2023 so far, and that has to be Liberation Day by George Saunders. This is a collection of stories and novellas, sci-fi, maybe even fantasy, but this is the good stuff. This is so dangerously possibly real and human and poignant. If you enjoy Black Mirror and that kind of thing, or Apple TV Plus Severance, this is like that, but so much better, because George Saunders is the king of writing. He has the most perfect, majestic, and neat and perfect writing style. And honestly, I just don't see why this book isn't more popular. This is the best book of the year. Prompt number 2, what is the best sequel that you have read in 2023? And it has to be Renegades Magic by Robin Hobb. Robin Hobb is such a popular author for her super series, The Realm of the Elderlings, and I love that series. However, a lot of people, the majority of readers who have loved The Realm of the Elderlings, never read the Soldier Son trilogy. They don't even bother trying it out. It is a somewhat challenging and different kind of fantasy trilogy, but it is so rewarding, and in some parts it is actually even better than The Realm of the Elderlings, and if you know me, that's saying something. So Renegades Magic is the conclusion, book 3 to the Soldier Son trilogy, and I won't give anything away because you really have to try this series out. This finale did not disappoint. Questions numbers 3 and 4 have to do with new releases or most anticipated releases, and I'm gonna skip these questions altogether just because this year in particular I haven't really been following new releases or anything like that. So I'm just gonna skip right into question number 5, which is, what is the biggest disappointment that you've had in 2023? And I actually have 3 because you know me, I am a salty mother effer. I am a salty person. And boy, I have had some disappointments this year. I actually have 3 because they were very disappointing in their own right, in their own ways. The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. I was eagerly anticipating reading this book. I've been wanting to read this book for years, and it was such a letdown. It was just such a bland piece of old cardboard. I get it. I sort of get it. I sort of get the messages, and I can honestly say this is just not the right timing for me to read this book. It just feels stale. It doesn't even feel old because it's a very timeless kind of message, but its delivery, everything felt very stale and just very untimely for me. Honestly, just go ahead and read George Saunders instead. Any of George Saunders' books is miles better than this and more profound. So yeah, I did not like The Handmaid's Tale, which is, I think, a very unpopular opinion, but you know me, I love unpopular opinions. Then Jade City by Fonda Lee in the fantasy section. This was sold to me like, oh my god, the second coming of Harry Potter, like the Messiah, which, you know, the Messiah for me is Harry Potter. So, and let me tell you, Fonda Lee is no J.K. Rowling, and I know that many people don't like J.K. Rowling and many people love Fonda Lee, but I am saying that to myself. Like, I was expecting this book to be something that it really was not. I was expecting this book, Jade City, to be immersive. I did not find it immersive. Really great characters. I thought they were okay. Superb writing. I don't think their writing was really good at all. and a very interesting story, and the story was so lackluster to me. The writing style in particular never really caught on with me. It never really resonated with me personally as a reader, and therefore there was nothing really good here that I could latch onto. This wasn't a bad book by any means, but it was just such a lackluster, mediocre experience, and I just found myself sort of shrugging at the end of the book and thinking, should I really continue on with the second book in the trilogy? Really? Why? I don't really care about any of this. So, no thank you. No merci. Then we have probably the worst book, or one of the worst books that I've read this year, and that has to be A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms by George R.R. Martin. Oh my God, this book highlights and exemplifies perfectly everything that George R.R. Martin does badly. Like, all of his writing flaws and all of his writing vices are here, like, so evident. I couldn't care less for this book. The characters had some potential, and some of the stories sort of had potential and something going for them, but George R.R. Martin's style as a writer is so awful. I could not care less about this book. It sucks. This book sucked. But then we have question number 6, your biggest surprise, and Anthony Horowitz's Magpie Murders. This is probably the most entertaining and enjoyable book that I have read in years. Like, Anthony Horowitz, thank you. Thank you for giving me this. This is the perfect example of what I personally, as a reader, am looking forward to in a book. This is why I have come to reading. Not to be a really cultured, educated person with a lot of insight. No, this is why I come to fiction specifically. It was such a rollicking adventure. I could not take my eyes away from the page. I was like gripping this book so hard. Like, the copy of my book is actually sort of mistreated. My knuckles were white when I was holding this book. I was like holding on for dear life. I stayed up at till 4:30 in the morning because I had to know how it ended. This is the most deliciously, devilishly devourable book that you will ever find. Magpie Murders. It was just splendid. Then prompt number 7, your favorite new author. It can be a debut or new to you author, and it has to be on Anthony Horowitz. Yes, of course, I want to read everything that he's written. Then we have question number 8, which is your newest fictional crush. I am not answering this question because I am not a 12-year-old girl, even though I could very well be. And question number 9, which is your newest favorite character. And honestly, I think I'm gonna go not with just one character, but like an ensemble of characters. I'm gonna go with the whole cast of the Soldier Son trilogy by Robin Hobb. If there's something that Robin Hobb can do better than anyone else, it's character writing and character development. So yeah, again, I'm giving a shout out to Robin Hobb's Soldier Son trilogy. So underrated. It physically hurts me. Then we have question number 10, a book that made you cry. I am not really a crier with books, but a book that made me feel emotional and very teary in a way, very emotionally vulnerable. Anne of Green Gables. I never thought I would love this book as much as I did. This book was so touching and so heartwarming and so Gilmore Girls-y. It was great. Question 11, a book that made you happy. Most of the books that I love reading make me very happy. But there was a book in particular, and that is Song of Spider-Man by Glenn Berger. This is the story of the Spider-Man musical on Broadway, which I actually saw on Broadway 10 years ago and 12 years ago. And this is nonfiction, of course. It's about the making of that infamous disaster of a musical, and it's so wild. Like, the story behind that musical is so wild. I was so enthralled reading about this true story and about Glenn Berger's take on what happened and how everything went down. And this was just so hilarious as well. I was laughing my head off while reading this book. Prompt number 12, the most beautiful book that you've bought so far this year. And this might not be like a luxurious, super expensive, super majestic copy or anything, but I just love this copy of The Paying Guests by Sarah Waters. This is the book that I'm currently reading right now, actually. I love this like super big, long, large paperback. This is the UK edition, I believe. It has some metallic like foiling in the cover, and I just love this kind of I don't know, I think it's lovely, and the pages are such high quality. Lovely, lovely book. And finally, we have question 13. What are some books that you need to read before the year is out, before the year is over? I'm gonna be completely honest, 2023 has been quite a rough year personally for me, just because of some things that are going on, family and stuff. And so I haven't really been able to read as much as I normally would or would be wanting to. Anyway, things are a little unstable right now. So, but I do have some books that I would love to try and hopefully finish by the end of the year. I'm just going to show you 3. Well, of course, The Paying Guests, which I just told you about by Sarah Waters, is one of them. But I do have 3 books that I want to make sure I complete before the year is out. So the first one is Moonflower Murders by Anthony Horowitz, which is the second part of the Magpie Murders series. Everyone says that this is even a little bit better than the first one, which I cannot possibly imagine, because the first one is a perfect book in my opinion. But I'm very excited to see what it's all about. Then I have this, The Notebook trilogy, which is a European, I think it's from, where is it from? Is it from Hungary or something like that? Anyway, this is by Agata Christoph, I don't know how to pronounce that, but it's the Notebook trilogy, and it's been receiving a lot of really high praise. And so this is The Notebook, The Proof, and The Third Lie by Agata Christoph. Everyone says this is amazing. And then some nonfiction regarding Broadway history. This is Something Wonderful. Rodgers and Hammerstein's Broadway Revolution by Todd S. Purdon. This is exactly what it says it is. It is a recap of Rodgers and Hammerstein's musicals and how they came together and wrote these musicals, which, you know, these are musicals that I absolutely adore. So that's a book that I want to read slowly throughout the year, the remainder of the year. Anyway, those are my answers to the mid-year book freakout tag. I hope you have collected some recommendations from this video. Thanks for watching. Let me know if there are any recommendations that you have for me in the comment section down below, and I will see you on the next video. Thank you.